Hey folks, Tod Palmer with the Kansas City Star outside Memorial Stadium once again, where Missouri will take part in its third and final scrimmage of fall camp on Thursday afternoon. It's the final tune-up before the Tigers take on Southeast Missouri on September 5th back here at Faurot Field. We're going to talk a little bit about 5 things that you need to look for from that scrimmage as Missouri gets ready for the season. We'll start with the defense, and obviously the defense was the driving force last year in the run to a second straight SEC East Division title and a return to the SEC championship game. There's some question marks on that defense. Obviously you've got a rebuilt defensive line, and you've got a new coordinator coming in Barry Odom, although he did spend a lot of time here on Dave Steckel's staff. So some of the talk about the transition is a little bit overblown because he's familiar with what Missouri's done and really based a lot of what he did at Memphis the last 3 years on what he learned from Dave Steckel and the coaching staff here at Missouri. But through the first couple games, we've seen a decent pass rush, and it's come from all spots along that defensive line. But Barry Odom talked today about consistency being one of the things he really wants to see in this final scrimmage from that defense. And I think one of the things that you're looking for in terms of consistency is that pass rush. Can they once again generate it? Can they get the pass rush from the ends, from guys like Walter Brady and Marcel Frazier, as well as Charles Harris, but also up the middle from guys like Josh Augusta and Terry Beckner. And then another thing that we've seen in the first few games is Missouri's gotten beat deep on some balls. When I talked to Ian Simon, he said a lot of it comes down to communication issues and little things that are easy to fix. But can Missouri shore that up? Or is there a trade-off in the aggression that Barry Odom wants this team to play with compared to Steckel's defense, which played a little bit more zone, and the susceptibility to those deeper balls or those bigger plays because you are a little bit more aggressive and you are taking more chances. So it'll be interesting to see how those two things shake out. On the offensive front, the quarterback is obviously the premier position, and I think it's still worth monitoring how Matty Mock does. Great scrimmage last Thursday, wasn't as good the previous Saturday and the first scrimmage of the season. Drew Locke from Lee Summit's been great in both. Again, I think you want to see consistency here. Is Matty, who's going to be the starter, but is Matty going to be able to kind of build off of the last scrimmage and complete a higher percentage and make the big plays, make the reads, take the short pass if that's what's available, but also stick it to the defense deep if that's what they give him. I think that's all part of the continued progression of Matty Mock, and so I think that's worth monitoring as well. And then the other thing is the run game. It's a little bit alarming that they haven't been able to generate many big plays from the run game. That was kind of the bread and butter last year. Now part of that was because the defense was so good, so they wanted to limit mistakes from the offense, and it's a lot easier for a play to break down in the passing game than it is the run game. But the run game hasn't been as explosive this year. They don't have the same depth behind Russell. So it'll be worth seeing, or it'll be interesting to see whether there's a little bit more from the passing game than we've seen. Special teams, still wondering who's going to be the starting punter. You got a little bit better get off time, which is how fast he gets the ball off from snap to kick for freshman Corey Fatoni. But you've got some interesting things that Dayton Balvans, a junior college transfer from Ellsworth, Iowa, can do. Neither one of them has really owned this job. I mean, if you watch him practice, one time Fatoni will kick a 4.6 hang time, and then the next time he'll kick 4.3. Balvans might go from 4.9 to 4.4. So that's still a developing situation, as is the kick return and punt return situation. Replacing Marcus Murphy won't be easy. This is our final chance to see kind of how that battle shakes out. And who's kind of taking charge of those positions. So keep tuned in here on KansasCityStar.com, and we'll give you an update Thursday afternoon about how the scrimmage went.